Hello.
Welcome to Tabletop Trio, episode something, November 9th, 2022. Hope you're having yourself a fantastic week, a great day. This is the Tabletop Trio. I'm Bob.
I'm Joe.
I'm Bronson.
And we've got a fantastic show lined up for you, as always. But the other day was a very special day for at least Bronson and I. It was N7 Day. And if you're a fan of the Mass Effect trilogy, N7 Day is it's a pretty big day. Plus, you learn a lot more about it. We'll talk about Mass Effect and all that fun stuff coming up in a little bit. We've also got some snacks and different things to try, show and taste and tell, and all the fun stuff today.
I'm even hypocritically drinking a beer after describing how much I fucking hated them in previous episodes.
Sometimes it be like that.
D-Dub says Joe's beer looks like shit.
How dare you?
Maybe it's not beer.
Beard.
Oh, beard.
I like your beard.
Well, no, it says beer, unless I'm blind.
Nah.
Wait, does it say beer or does it say beard?
Joe's beer
Beer.
looks like
Oh,
shit.
your beer looks like shit.
Yeah, that's because it's water. So you're right.
So's mine. Are we allowed to
I've
drink
got-
on stream?
Yeah.
Are we getting demonetized?
Who's gonna fucking Oh no.
All 5 viewers.
It's Red Bull. Hashtag not sponsored.
Ah, yes. Should be, though. Hit us up.
Yeah. Red Bull.
TabletopTrio@gmail.
Red Bull, hit us up.
We'll do a flutog for you.
Real talk, that would be awesome.
You know, I keep thinking about it and I keep designing them and then I just delete them because if I keep them somewhere, I will start building.
So here's one thing I've always wanted to try. One of the radio stations in Philly, WMMR, every year they do something called the Cardboard Classic,
Nice.
where you build a sled out of cardboard and you race it down a hill at Big Boulder, one of the Pocono ski resorts.
All right.
I'm in.
You literally can only use cardboard and duct tape.
That's like half of my arsenal.
That's you can't tell an engineer that. I'm gonna make an actual aircraft.
Well, and they also have theme prizes and shit every year.
Okay.
They always have a beer sponsor, and for the best beer themed one, you win whatever the sponsor is for a year. So free Coors Light for a year.
So do we want to make a beer Stein sled?
I mean,
Beerstein, that's that German metal band, right?
Yeah.
that's one with all the fire and everything.
Yeah. We'll do the functioning lid.
Yo. We should put functioning taps on there too, so we're serving as we're going down the hill.
That would not be that difficult to do.
No, I don't think. I mean, it's duct tape and cardboard, but I can get away with a lot with duct tape and cardboard.
No, dude, you do not know. You do not know the types of things that you can substitute, simple mechanism wise for cardboard. You can make almost every simple mechanism effectively out of cardboard, so you can basically make everything.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, water might be an issue, but outside of that,
The exterior skin of some cardboard is water rated because that goes into the design of the cardboard. Cardboard is so over engineered. Dude, do you know how many different grades of cardboard there are? There are in
Too
the
many.
hundreds.
Oh,
Because they all serve different functions for different things. When you think of typical corrugated cardboard, that's just the most popular for shipping box types for UPS and FedEx.
Mm-hmm.
Corrugated cardboard, when you look at it, start looking at the fine intricacies. The distance between the corrugation and the cardboard varies by grade. The thickness of the corrugation. Some of them are double corrugated.
yeah, I've had to. So when you get the really expensive shit, that's when you get that good cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one where you need an actual hacksaw to cut the cardboard.
I broke a scissor today trying to cut cardboard. 'Cause
oh,
I got a polyhedral cathedral order in, even though I was not advertising. I asked the gentleman how he found me, and he said he searched engraved character sheet on Google, and I was the first applicable result, which
That's
is
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah.
But I went into my garage because when I shipped them, I put them in a 9.5 by 11 mailer, paper size, and I put in a piece of cardboard on either side to brace the sheet because it's flexible plastic. And I don't want it getting damaged. I went to go cut the cardboard in my garage out of a big empty box we had, and I literally just closed the scissors, and the handles just snapped right apart. The blade was fine, but the plastic handle cover just went and flew apart.
shrapnel.
I clamped them because it was weird because it was just like hanging on. So it's just like the one handle piece, and you could see like the exposed metal. So I just put it back on and Gorilla Glued it, and I clamped it. I went back upstairs, got an X-Acto knife, came back down. It grabbed the X-Acto knife and pulled it out of pulled the blade out of the handle.
Holy shit.
And I was like,
adamantium.
I am
over
like,
there.
yeah, I'm dealing with some industrial grade shit here. So then I went and I was like, man, if only they made some type of tool for this exact purpose. And I was like, oh, I'm a dumbass. I have 3 box cutters upstairs. They're literally for this. I went up and got them. And when I came back down, the scissor that I had Gorilla Glued back together, apparently the Gorilla Glue did not like those scissors because it exploded.
Oh.
It blew it out of the clamp that I put together, and they were laying on different parts of my garage. And I was like, how? Like, did the cardboard destroy these scissors in such a complete way that they were irrevocably damaged? That even the simple act of trying to rejoin them was heresy.
I love the comment. No Gorilla Glue.
Thank you, Dalton.
Yeah, I have to show you guys the videos of like previous years that they've done this cardboard
Don't
classic.
give me ideas.
Give him ideas.
I've seen like double-decker floats,
You're giving me ideas.
like literally 2 rows of like 50 people on this thing.
how
Going
do you
down
enter
the
these
hill.
things?
Uh,
Is
when
it
they-
open? Is it
when they-
open registration?
Yeah, when they announce it, I'll let you guys know.
Do you know if you take a piece of cardboard and you like fold it into the shape of a 4x4, it is the same relative compression and shear strength as an actual 4x4?
Holy
can see it.
shit.
It's just not as waterproof. So like if you want to talk about making like a double decker thing with 50 people, you could easily do that with enough cardboard. That shit's insane. That's like an erector set for adults.
Mm-hmm.
Like
The
Kinect's
key is that
professional
it's
grade.
moving.
You can make wheels.
You could. It's a sled though.
Well, like every year they also have these like, different captions for like the fastest sled or like the biggest disaster of a sled and like
Let's try to get them all in one shot.
All right.
fastest
I get it.
disaster.
Oh my god, let's make a
We-
giant cardboard buckyball and just roll down and fuck everybody up inside.
Our sled is a 10 by 10 Rubik's Cube. Good luck, everyone else.
Functioning.
Solvable.
Yeah.
Yeah, functioning Rubik's Cube.
In order to get us out, you have to solve the cube,
Or
we just die inside.
we make a giant 2008, 2007 Britney Spears head with duct tape for hair, and that would be the mess sled.
Oh no.
No, leave Brittany alone.
I said 2007.
It doesn't matter. That's when this shit blew up. We're gonna get a bunch of people angry at her conservatorship in here talking shit about us.
She's great, even though she changed her name, and nobody knows what it means.
Did she?
Yeah, on Instagram or Twitter or something.
What did she change it to?
I don't know. I didn't look that far. I just know she changed her name, and everyone was like, and nobody knows what it means. And I was like, then I'm not going to look, because the fuck if I know what it's
Yeah.
going to mean.
If you don't know, I don't either.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Huh.
That is...
I love Philly. I love Philadelphia just for that reason.
Why?
The chicken.
the
This guy in Philly put
Uh-huh.
out flyers
Uh-huh.
basically saying, "Hey, I'm going to eat a whole rotisserie chicken on this day. It's not a party. I'm just going to go eat it."
Oh, it was just on said day.
It was just on this day, I'm going to go eat a rotisserie chicken at this location.
Uh-huh.
And people showed up in force. They literally showed up to cheer this guy on as he ate a whole rotisserie chicken.
That's not that impressive, though.
Yeah,
But the-
Matty got like 3 of those suckers down per meal, didn't he?
But the fact that
Give or
he
take.
did it,
I could do one rotisserie chicken.
Yeah.
like, I feel like that is just prime, like, that is the spirit of Philadelphia.
I hate
That is true.
Philadelphia.
Like-
Philadelphia is the worst city in the country.
Oh, see, I
At me, I'll
love,
fight
I
you.
It
fucking
depends.
love
Don't
Philadelphia.
say
I
that.
love
Philly will
Philly.
come here. Someone's like, "Hey, you guys are like fucking 45 minutes away. I'll be here in a minute."
Joe, bad things happen in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and we're pretty close.
No, I can't wait to go to Philly for the PAX Unplugged is going to be in Philly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, when is that?
December 2nd through 4th, I believe. I'm pretty sure I'm going on that Saturday.
That is my birthday weekend. I may have to try to go.
Hot shit. Let me buy your ticket for your birthday, bitch.
Yeah, we
That
can
wasn't a
go and then
request.
make.
To let
I
you
know
know.
I
make.
I know I
Make
phrased that.
terrible financial decisions.
I know I phrased that like it was a question.
Ooh,
but
a
it isn't.
dice. Ooh, a dice.
What I meant
Ooh,
was,
a dice.
as soon as you confirm that you can go, I'm going to buy you a ticket for your birthday.
Fair enough.
be like, yes, and I would like that dice, and because it's my birthday, I'll buy it. And I like that dice, and it's my birthday, so I'll buy it.
I'm gonna treat myself. This is shiny, mine.
Someone be like, hey, I got shiny stuff over here. You'd be like, here's my $20 bill.
Nah, Philly's cool. The best part about that expo center is that that food market is right across the street from it. That,
Reading Terminal Market.
yes,
It's
yes.
right there.
Oh my god! Every time I go there, I get something banging.
I love.
We have
All of the food there.
comment, a giant D100 with all of the dimples, and you are inside and you push it down the hill. Do not know if that qualifies as a sled, but it would be awesome.
Let me. You know what? I'm gonna look up the definition of a sled. And-
As long as it has a sliding
Wait,
bottom, that's a
wait.
sled.
Take the D100 idea.
Mhm.
Instead of dimples on one like bottom part, make that flat. Everything else can have the dimples,
That's
but
the
as long as
one.
it's flat and it slides
No,
down.
actually, the one should be up top so that when we fuck up, we could be like, haha, on purpose.
But the dimples are important for reducing our trailing edge vorticities.
Gonna say for drag.
No.
We a fucking
That
golf
is,
ball.
yeah, that's literally exactly what they're for. That's,
Yeah.
it's called trailing edge vorticity.
When we're a sled and we're
Also
trying to
drag.
just not crash, I don't think that's that important.
A sled, sledge, or sleigh, okay, is a land vehicle that slides across the surface,
I
usually
like-
of ice or snow.
I like how
Man.
they had to specify land vehicle. Yeah, fuck you, Santa.
Sleigh queen.
Yeah, any-
sleigh.
Any any kids? Are there any kids in this chat? Yeah, you heard it here first. Land vehicle.
It's a magic sleigh that flies. Excuse me. Actually, that means it's not a sleigh.
Yeah, it's no longer a sled. That's a UFO.
Wait,
Hashtag
right.
Santa is an alien.
'Cause it's
Hashtag
not-
stay woke.
wait.
Yeah,
Joe is right though.
I just broke Christians.
You no. You fucking broke me. Think about it. It's not a sled
No,
because a sled is a land vehicle.
correct.
Yeah.
It's flying. We don't know what it is. It's
Santa's an alien.
it is
Yeah,
technically a
I'm just saying.
UFO.
It's technically a UFO until it lands. Then it's a sled again.
Well, he's from the North Pole, so technically he is an illegal alien.
That is true.
That is true. He does not show his passport crossing borders.
Correct.
That is a very
So
valid
he's
point.
an illegal alien flying an identified flying object.
Yeah, fully identified.
NORAD and Santa are in tight too.
Can you
What does
imagine
NORAD really know, man?
working at like a radar center and just seeing like that fly across the radar, and you go to like put in a call, and some commander behind you's just like, no. Let him go.
Just let it go.
It's the Jolly Man.
No, that's how terror attack happens.
Codename Jolly.
That was how Pearl Harbor happened. The Japanese sent warning they were going to attack us, and the American government was like, no, they're not.
Idiots. You got us.
Yeah. how'd that work
Anyway.
out? So, yeah. So Mass Effect stuff.
Okay,
Bronson came prepared.
here we go. On N7 Day, the Mass Effect official social media accounts put out a special picture of what looked like an in-construction Mass Effect relay and a garbled message that someone ran through some audio processing and discovered that it was a message from Liara to Sony telling the council that they were stupid if they ever thought that the humans would back off anything that the council told them to. Indicating that the humans are the ones rebuilding the Mass Effect relays. And it makes sense because visually it looked like the human architecture in the Mass Effect games. Joe has no clue what we're talking about.
Nope.
To give you the most nutshell version I can, at the end of Mass Effect 3, the giants
I don't want to say TLDP because that would sound.
too long didn't play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I mean, the full game, like
It's so
120
good.
hours. Yeah. But anyway, the Legendary Edition. The full nutshell version of that is at the end of Mass Effect 3, all the Mass Effect relays, which they use to get between solar systems within the Milky Way galaxy, are destroyed, trapping everybody basically where they are, which sucks because like the Turians and the Quarians are nitrogen-based life, so they can't eat the same stuff, and then nobody can get back to their home planets and shit.
Yeah, everyone's stranded.
So it sounds like the premise of Mass Effect They're saying
something.
Mass Effect
new,
5.
New Mass Effect.
It would be technically the 5th Mass Effect game, but there are a
New
lot
Mass?
of people.
Is that just Massachusetts?
my
We're
God.
doing new mass.
The premise being that they're rebuilding the Mass Effect relays. I, for one, hope they keep Shepard dead.
Yeah.
I
That
would assume
character's-
that's a full rebuild game. I mean, after this many years.
Well, Liara is already a character from the previous.
But did she die?
No.
It checks out.
She also lives for like 2,000 years.
That is also.
They're basically space elves.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. I hope they keep Shepard dead because they have literally resurrected him from the dead. That's the beginning of the second game.
Yeah.
But his story's over, and too many times I think you see a lot of these series, they run out their original plots and stories, and then you could tell where they start winging it, right?
Mm.
And you never
Halo.
want a series to get to that because I feel like for all the hype around Supernatural, seasons 1 through 5 were actually phenomenal, and then
That's
it
what I
got
heard.
into 6, 7, and 8, and they were just flat out stupid and uninteresting, in my opinion. I really hated where they took it, and I actually couldn't watch it past season 8 because it got so silly.
That was me with Scrubs.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, when they took JD off and
Yeah, and they
Wait.
basically took him off and did med school for a year.
Mm.
yeah, so when
They didn't play those on TV, and I only watched Scrubs
No, they did.
exclusively through Comedy Central.
They did.
No, but I didn't do it in order.
oh,
I
gotcha.
got in when it was like rerun seasons.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, like,
well,
they
don't
they
do
took out the
reruns.
bad ones.
Yeah, they don't do reruns of the shitty seasons.
Yeah, exactly.
It did. The show didn't have the same charm.
I have every season on DVD.
Hell
I
yeah,
have, I have every season on my Plex.
nice. So anyway, Mass Effect, obviously one of my favorite game series of all time, considering how hype I am. Mass Effect and Doom for me are tied for first, but I'm really excited. I hope they do this reboot correctly, and I want to kind of tie that into my hot take on Mass Effect Andromeda.
This is EA now, right?
It's always been EA.
Yeah, but it is like new EA.
I don't know.
I
what you mean
mean, because it was a BioWare game, and then EA bought BioWare.
EA bought BioWare before Mass Effect 1. Even Mass Effect 1 was published by EA.
So I would like to preface that with 2007 ish. Well,
Yeah.
really like 2001
Yeah, Mass Effect was a launch title for
to
360.
like 2013.
Uh-huh.
Decent EA. They were kind of shitty, but the games they were putting out and the things that they were doing,
Yep.
they tried and they were good.
The beginning of EA's woes actually was Mass Effect 3 and how botched the ending was.
Yes.
So that's like part of what I want to talk about. The start of when EA got really, really bad with their production cycles and the choices they were making actually kicked off with Mass Effect 3. So much so that during the production of Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem, the lead at BioWare just left the company and said, fuck it, I'm done with this.
Anthem had so much hype behind it. They were pushing it so hard because I remember I was like, "Oh my god, that looks so fun! It's gonna." And then I didn't even hear it released; it just came out.
So it got trampled by another release, and then they didn't do proper marketing for it. And Casey, I think it was Casey Hudson, was it the directive lead on Mass Effect, the Mass Effect series, the one that left Mass Effect for
The name sounds
for Anthem?
familiar.
Yeah, I took a screenshot so I could quick reference this. Yeah, Casey Hudson. So he was the executive producer for all Mass Effect games, all the first 3 in the trilogy. And then at the end of 3, there was a little bit of backlash. So when 3 was being made, people were cycling between the teams a lot. And what ended up happening was like studio crunch became really prominent during that time.
Yeah.
So they built this enormous game out, and it really capitalized on everything you could do in the previous 2 games, and it made like all the story stuff made sense. It was phenomenal up until the actual ending cutscenes where they destroyed it. And that is a pun because of the destroy ending. But I wasn't even pissed at the way it ended because I understand that I would be sad regardless of how it ended. But they led you through the entire game as blue is the good ending, or blue is like the good guy, and red is the asshole thing, right? And at the end, they swapped that. They made Anderson's destroy ending the red, like the asshole choice, and they made the elusive man's control ending the quote unquote best choice. I don't really like either of them because of the implications of like how that affects the universe and how that affects the Milky Way galaxy. And don't even get me started on the synthetic ending. I think that's the dumbest thing they've ever put.
I won't
in the
because I
series.
don't know.
They turn everybody into a synthesized human or organic / robotic creature. As dumb as that sounds as a brief description of it, it's as dumb as it was.
Yeah.
It really was just a very strange ending to the game. Like, can you imagine having your DNA reconfigured against your will?
For the entire galaxy.
Yeah.
Not just like a couple of folks on Earth.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
Like the galaxy.
we're doing like the Nazi thing again, or like
And the one thing that really bothered me even more than that, was it Buzz Aldrin that did the outro
Yes.
text? So they do this speech about the shepherd in the outro text. And I don't know why, but he calls this little kid he's talking to my sweet. And it makes me want to throw up because it's very creepy. Like,
It's really
Buzz
awkward.
Aldrin. Yeah, very awkward. Buzz Aldrin, national hero. Do not call a child my sweet, please.
well, did he do that like off cuff, or was he reading from a script?
I have no clue, but I don't like it either way.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, like that's one of those games where I love 3. 2, I think, is my favorite Mass Effect game. 3 is great, but just leading up to the ending, like you said, you're just like, oh man, this is great. This is great. This is
Yeah.
it's like that meme of the horse,
So
where it's like a super awesome drawing, and then it turns into a stick figure at the end.
Yeah. There were also a couple things in there that were really bothersome. So, like, when they were doing Mass Effect 3's ending, all said and done, if you got really, really high, what was it? Oh, no, if you beat the game on a harder difficulty, you got to see a cutscene at the end after the Citadel's destroyed of the N7 chest guard, and you hear a gasp, and you see the chest guard move. So it kind of was like you rewarded for doing all this stuff by, like, seeing Shepard take another breath, right? And then one of the developers posted a picture of it on, I think it was Twitter or their Facebook page, and was like, "Oh no, he's actually dead. That was just his last breath." Like, why would you do that? Like, you leave it open ended just to be like, "Nah, fuck you. He's dead."
He was
like,
killed on Twitter.
Oh my god,
he's killed on Twitter.
I don't know. It's just very, very poor choices by the team. And then because of that crunch culture, I guess they got the majority of the game done and then really rushed the shit out of the ending. So you get very little, like, what is it called?
Like payoff almost, right?
Yes, but not an interlude, not a prelude. The final one. Oh my god.
Like a post-mortem, basically, like after epilogue.
Epilogue. Thank you. In the epilogue, they don't describe what happened to any of the characters. You're just like, you see them all get out of the Normandy, and then they're like, and then the rest of the ships went off into space to try to find their way home. This journey would take hundreds of years. The end. My sweet? Like, that's how it felt. I remember watching that in stunned silence next to Allie and going, that fucking sucked. Like, it was just such a fucking letdown. Holy crap. I don't know. I've never been let down that much by the ending of a game. But I do want to tie that into Mass Effect Andromeda, which I know is a hot topic for a lot of people. I think people that hate on that game because of the meme of hating on that game.
Yes. I wholeheartedly agree.
There's a lot of people who haven't played it who only know the game from the bugs. Like,
Yeah.
I only know the game from the first few months it was out because everyone memed that people were walking around the ship and no one had faces. It was just eyes and tongues.
Which, granted, is not something that should happen. But when you get into actually the background of what happened with Andromeda, you start to see that EA really dug their own grave with it, which is they expected the game to sell purely on the fact that they slapped the name Mass Effect on it, right? So
Classic mistake.
I'm going to lead this off and say I think Andromeda is a good game. I think a lot of people that say otherwise, when I ask them why they think that, they usually can't answer me because they're like, "Oh, Andromeda sucks." I'm like, "I understand your opinion, but why do you think that?" And they're like, "Well, because all the facial animation problems." Okay, that's not enough to ruin an entire game.
Yeah, that doesn't break
first
the
of all.
game.
other games have had tremendous bugs on launch. The most successful game of all time, arguably, of the modern era, I should say, because I'm not talking about like Tetris or Minecraft really, because that was like the past era. Skyrim. Skyrim released day one with a story quest so bugged you couldn't complete it, and you had to wait a couple days for a patch. The bug was you couldn't get into one of the doors in the Rataways in the sewer, and they had a day 2 patch that fixed that. Thankfully, it was just that, right? But Mass Effect's bugs, Andromeda's bugs, took much longer to fix. The studio was hammered in crunch culture with EA. None of the original Mass Effect developers were on it. They were trying to develop the game across 3 different studios in 3 different countries. And then, to top it all off, a lot of the people that worked on Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 as DLC developers only are the people that ended up making the game. So they shifted it to BioWare Montreal. And BioWare Montreal had only taken the DLC portions of Mass Effect 3. They had never done their own game by themselves. And then they'd go on these meetings where they discuss their development ideas and their story ideas, and developers inside BioWare that were working on Anthem and Dragon Age Inquisition would steal those plot points from them. And there's like multiple articles you can read about the developers complaining that they would pitch their idea to the other studio that was working on the game, and then they see those ideas to fruition in other games. Like, so like on top of all this shitstorm, right? They also were forced to use the Frostbite engine, which they really didn't want to.
No one wanted to use Frostbite when it came out
because it was crap.
Well, it never worked on the Wii out the gate. It was too powerful for Nintendo, so you lost a console out the door. It was brand new and it was buggy.
Oh yeah.
I think they went
4
iterations of Frostbite, and now I don't think they use it anymore. I think it's something else.
The developers in Mass Effect complained about Frostbite and said that Frostbite was like an F1 car. What the F1 car was designed to do, it does phenomenally. Things that it's not designed to do, it does not do at all. So Frostbite, from what I read, is amazing with vehicles. It's amazing with the first-person shooter aspect. Like, it's great handling all that. Yeah. Large terrain, like was Andromeda, awful.
Well, yeah, it was meant for Battlefield. So the Frostbite engine was developed for Battlefield.
Right.
The new Battlefield. Then they tried to use it for sport games. I don't think that went well. It was okay, but I guess why they couldn't use it for Nintendo. It was just too much.
I guess to kind of like circle up my point here is, through all of that adversity, they still made, I don't want to say a decent game because I think it's better than that. They still made what I think is a good game. Mass Effect Andromeda is fun to play. The progression system is more loose than 1, 2, and 3, but makes more sense in being able to like complete and finish everything in the game. And I'm not all the way through it right now, so the story may take a nosedive. But so far, I think I'm about halfway through the game. It has been really fun, and the story's been really good. So yes, there are still visual bugs, even after all this time.
Still?
Well, they took all resources off working on it. So they got it to a playable point and don't bug fix things. But things you see is you'll get out of a cutscene and Ryder will be doing this and then go like that and then go to walk away.
Oh, the classic.
Or it'll pan a camera over and you'll see like a bunch of black spots appear on the screen because it has like not loaded that terrain effect in time and it's rendering behind somebody or something like that. Some of the facial animations are still glitchy because they did things with facial animations in that game that really hadn't been done yet. So like a lot of mocap, a lot of like adaptive changing between facial shapes, super high res facial mesh models. Another thing I saw Andromeda getting shit for is because not everybody looks like a fucking supermodel in it. So when they were making this game, they were like, these are going to be a bunch of random people from all over Earth, a bunch of like random Turians, a bunch of random Krogan. Not all the humans look like you would typically see in video games with like pretty character models. Like they represent a really broad range of the way people look.
Makes sense.
You have like, I don't think you have one like stereotypical video game looking character in that. You have people, like a range of people that look like people, and people really hated that when it came out.
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh, the characters are ugly," and blah blah.
Well, probably because
like,
people were used to the whole Ass Effect thing where they had like every shot in Mass Effect 2 of one of the characters, Miranda, was just her ass in the shot.
They would specifically pan the camera so you could see her like soccer ball ass. And like part of her thing was like, oh, I'm genetically modified and designed, so I'm perfect. When they put EDI in Mass Effect 3 as a playable companion, they literally used a sex robot that she took over. Like an infiltration robot designed to disarm people and make them affectionate towards her. Like
wasn't that the
shit.
plot of Austin Powers?
Far of it.
That was part of a scene in Austin Powers, yeah.
Those are the robots, right?
Which is really funny because Edie and the pilot Joker are like a thing, played by Seth Green. Which Joker, one of my favorite video game like NPCs.
That's fantastic.
Even his repeatable voice lines feel like they were done so organically. When you stop talking to him, sometimes they'll be like, yeah, whatever, I don't want to talk to you anyway.
Or like you can hear him every now and then like bickering with someone else on the crew. Or like just talking under his breath, and it just sounds like Seth Green being Seth Green.
Yeah, and it sounds very organic, which is a lot of the draw, I think, of Mass Effect is they really introduced deep characters that you want to get behind. It is a legitimate joy in the entire Mass Effect trilogy to talk to every one of your squad mates. The only one that kind of bums me out is Thane, which I know sucks because he's like a fan favorite. He just always has something depressing to say.
Yeah.
So
I love every Krogan squad mate in every single Mass Effect game.
Drunk grunt at the house party. So as kind of like a mea culpa, basically from EA, they gave us the Citadel DLC. Thank you. Where basically Shepard is on like shore leave.
Brownie Biddle. Biddle?
Brittle.
Brittle.
Brittle. There it is.
I could talk.
For sure.
So, basically you're on shore leave and, you know, they say, Shepard, you've been working too hard. You need to take a break. And they're like, all right, you need to throw a party. And like, there's an actual storyline and like battle and like all that kind of stuff where you're fighting your doppelganger. Really funny stuff. If you play as male Shepard, you know, the meme, I'm Commander Shepard and this is my favorite shop on the Citadel.
Yep.
That's where it's from.
Nope.
Well, it's from the game, like Mass Effect 3.
Yeah.
When you end a conversation, Mark Meer, who voiced Male Shep, and I'm pretty sure they do it with Fem Shep as well. I played Male Shep for 3. He just kind of goes, I should go. At one point, you meet your clone. I should go. I should go. I should go. God, do I really sound like that much of a douchebag? Like, it's so funny with that. But anyway, you get to throw in the party and you can invite your squad members and people from other games if they're alive and like that kind of stuff. There's one scene in particular where everyone's super fucking drunk and you're walking through the party and Grunt the Krogan, who's like a tank-born Krogan because there's a whole thing with like a genophage where they can't reproduce.
Test tube, baby.
Basically. And he's just sitting there and like just drunk ramblings is some of the funniest thing.
So
he's so sad. Like
he's
they can't
sitting
wear
down.
mittens.
He's sitting down in the shower, like half asleep, mumbling nonsense. And I think the one you're talking about is you just keep hitting to talk to him. He never moves, and he's facing away from you, but you'll hear him grumble something. And one of them, you just hear like a slight pause, and he goes, I'm sad because Hanar can't wear sweaters.
And like Krogan are these big lizard like murder machines.
Yeah, they're basically armored dinosaurs. You also, during the Citadel DLC, get to look at Grunt's search history, and that leads to him. It looks for like human Earth lizard, or like human Earth, human home planet, human Earth, Earth lizard, and then it starts going like deeper and deeper, and then he starts searching like dinosaur, Tyrannosaurus Rex, and then like it just keeps going. Like he's going after the nicknames people called him, and is like people call me an Earth lizard, and then the last one is like how to be a Tyrannosaurus Rex, like things like that. He's basically this like 8 foot tall Goliath 6-year-old. basically, because he acts like a toddler.
Got it.
Grunt is one of my favorite characters. Who, out of all the squad mates, who is your favorite, or like
Dude.
favorite party to bring with you?
Tally and Garrus. They're your ride or die throughout every game. They never once doubt you, and they always have your back. No other characters in the game stick with you through the entire run. Your human squad mate abandons you for 2, basically.
One is also a space racist.
One is indeed a space racist. She has a line at one point. She says, "I can't tell the animals from the aliens." Part of her plot is becoming a not space racist, but she doesn't really do it that well. Anyway. And
I
then
usually leave her behind on that one mission.
Okay.
And then-
bye.
even Liara, who's like Shep's like, it's supposed to be his main love interest,
Yeah.
doesn't really party with him for like most of 2. She's like the shadow broker, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Tally and Garrus.
And then she gets pissed off at you if you have a relationship in 2. And then
Does she?
so like if you
I
romance
thought
her
she
in
was
1.
indifferent.
So if you romance her in 1,
Mhm.
in 2, she's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'm really busy, blah blah blah." And then in 3, she's like, "The fuck." Like she gets pissed off like for a second that you like romance someone else, and then she's like, "So are we still like a thing?" At least it
I didn't
happened to
know
me
that.
because I accidentally romanced her in the first one.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't like romancing Liara because in the first game, they basically shove her down your throat.
Yeah.
You meet her.
That's what she said.
And then 5 minutes after you meet her, she's like, "Oh my God, Shepard, you're so special and interesting. Let me probe your brain." And you're like, pump the brakes,
I should go.
blue lady. I should go.
So we were talking. Are we gonna do Mass Effect streams?
I think we should, just
Do
for
it.
the fact that like Bronson and I can be like, "Oh, this is what happened," and blah 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 blah. Joe will be like, "Am I a Jedi or do I use guns? Am I
Yes.
biotic or do I use weapons?"
One thing I'm really pumped about through all 3 of the original trilogy is it doesn't matter what class you play; they're all really fun.
They
I
all
thought I
are.
was like cheating myself playing soldier all this time, and then I played a biotic character, and I was like, "Oh, this is fun." But playing a soldier is also fun. I really love using concussive shot, Bob. I really like knocking enemies across the map.
Oh, it's great.
When it has the power wheel, like when you press the power button, it pauses the game and you select what you want to use. Concussive shot is just like you hit someone with a concussion grenade and they get slammed on the ground. That is so fucking satisfying.
Like 80s cowboy movie getting shot and they get yeeted like 50 feet back,
Yep.
but more.
And it makes this satisfying pop of white dust. So you shoot like a
Oh,
and
love
they're
it.
like bang. Oh man, what a satisfying game! Like all 3 of those games, combat's very satisfying.
I
One-
will say when you do play it, Mass Effect 1 looks very dated. But if
even
you,
in the remaster.
yeah, even the remaster, it looks dated.
Listen, I
The
play retro
controls
games.
are pretty clunky.
Only
but
for the
st-
Mako.
But the store, oh my god. Well, here's the thing though. I loved driving the Mako in 1
I
because
also
it
love
was
driving the
so
Mako.
fucked up. Like they tried to make it drive like the Warthog in Halo,
Mm-hmm.
but it
That
was like
itself was
driving the
clunky.
Warthog in Halo with drunk goggles
And no gravity.
and no gravity
I'm okay with that.
and boosters.
I'm way okay with that.
I think people hate it because people generally suck at video games and it was a high skill cap vehicle. Like you really have to know how to drive it to not just like fuck yourself up.
I'll be fine.
And then you do the Skyrim method of, well, if I can't climb this, I'm going to keep jumping until I can climb it.
Correct.
Like I could go around the mountain,
No.
but I'm not going to.
yeah, no, we go up the mountain.
And then you boost up the mountain.
I
you jump.
usually bring vehicles where they're not supposed to go.
You're going to love driving in Mass Effect. then.
Perfect.
Except for the fucking mission where I have to find the monkeys. I genuinely hate that mission.
Finding monkeys.
Like where you have to find
kill all the Pyjacks.
Yeah. I hate that mission.
Really?
I don't know
Why?
why. I hate it.
Allie got so pissed at me when I punched the Pyjack on Tuchanka. And I didn't even do it on purpose. I walked over, I saw the interact button, and I was like, interact with the Pyjack? And I
Cool,
press
I
X.
get to
and
pet the monkey.
He's just like, "Yeah," like fucking punches it in the face, and the Krogan doctor next to you laughs. And one of your squad mates is like, "Was that really necessary?" Or if it's a Krogan squad mate, they're like, "Ha ha ha ha." and you get 2 renegade points for doing it. And Allie was like, I can't believe you just fucking yeeted that monkey. And I was like, I didn't know.
Oops. Hi.
Hello.
Hey, Kyle, how's it going?
So I think we're gonna do that on the stream. So when you guys follow us up on we're on the YouTubes now. We still are gonna be streaming live Twitches. So when we pop up on game nights, whenever we end up doing it next, I guess we'll be setting up some Mass Effect streams, since I will play it for the first time so I could understand what the fuck you guys are talking about, because I got nothing.
Literally between Bronson, you and I are pretty much in the same boat. For me, between Fallout and Mass Effect are my 2 favorite game franchises ever.
I can't say Fallout is in my favorite game franchises anymore, because there's only one Fallout game I regard as good from start to finish, and that's Fallout New Vegas.
I was gonna say New Vegas, the one where they made their own engine to make sure that things blow up correctly or fall correctly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be starting that soon.
3's ending pissed me off so much that I never picked it up again.
I just beat the game.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I have the Pip-Boy from 4 and I haven't
sad.
played it.
I was so sad.
Oh,
because,
so you finally got there so you could talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
Before we jump into that, I do want to answer Dalton's question in the chat. What game had the best character arc, and why is Titanfall 2 in contention for 4 hours? I don't know what you mean by the second part. What do you mean, why is Titanfall 2 in contention for 4 hours?
I think he means Titanfall to him is it up there for the best.
I love Titanfall.
Why for 4
2.
hours?
Oh,
Didn't it just have a very short campaign mode?
I thought it had
I'm
it that way.
remembering back, I remember Titanfall had no campaign.
yeah.
It was just online.
I thought 2 had a campaign, but it was
2
really
had a
short.
campaign, but it was very short. So I think that's what he's talking about with the 4 hours thing.
Oh, yep, there he goes.
Yeah, 4
Campaign
hours.
was a total 4 hours. I didn't know that. I've never
I
played
was
either of the
so sad.
Titanfall games.
I've
You
played
would
it
love
for like
Titanfall.
trials.
It's basically Apex with giant
Mechs.
mechs.
Yeah. I know the premise. I've watched my cousin play through a bit of it. I just never actually downloaded and played the game myself.
It at the time it was one of my favorite first person shooter games. And you actually get to know the robot, the Titan that you're in.
All right.
To the point where it has a very sad try to get my hand in the bag. There we go.
I believe in you.
There were some very sad portions where you're borderline crying over a robot. And you're just
Huh.
oh,
Speaking of
buddy.
sad, do we want to real quick run through our fucking game that had no goddamn business being that fucking sad?
I am so mad because I was having such a good time.
It was
with
so
A Way
fun.
Out. It was so dumb.
Is that the game you guys were playing together?
Yeah. At one point,
Took
we're
an M. Night fucking Shyamalan twist at the end. Literally 20 minutes left in the game. We're like, wow, that was really fun. What?
At one point, Joe and I were playing. We just started the stream and we're walking through a trailer park, and we see a swing set. And
we were
there's and there's a seesaw, and I'm like, Joe, we have to get on the seesaw.
I literally run up. I'm like, I'm gonna sit in the fucking seesaw. It better let me sit in the fucking seesaw. And then it let me sit in the seesaw. And I was like, and then he sits in the other seat. And then the two characters look at each other and just like, this is weird. This is weird. And then they both get up and you get an achievement. We played
Amazing.
We played horseshoes. We played darts, all in the trailer park.
We played baseball.
We played baseball. I tried to yell at some lady who kept having sex in the trailer that it was really loud and it's a trailer park, but man, she was just going to town.
Good for her.
So, yeah. So that was the thing that happens. And then this whole thing happens. We meet everything. We have everything's on YouTube because Twitch only gives you 7 days, but the whole thing is on YouTube if you guys want to watch it. I think we might edit it up and shrink it down to get the best parts. That way we can get a smaller one. But it ended up basically we went to Mexico to find this guy who
like wronged both of our
wronged
characters.
both of our characters for two different reasons.
Like one character's brother died, the other got double crossed.
Yeah. So he was in jail for that guy. So we get to Mexico. We basically kill several dozen cartel.
At least.
Yeah, at least. I ran around with a shotgun and he had an actual rifle. He's like, do you want to get like a longer range weapon? I was like, no, the shotgun will be fine.
I mean, so like I'm sniping and he's just like, he's literally just like turning the corner and be like, oh, hey, boom.
Bob is like moving the scope and just watching me just be like, la, 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 la.
And like we have this big shootout and like super epic like chase where we're riding a motorcycle and they're chasing us with, like tanks and shit's blowing up. And then we get on the airplane. We're like, oh man, we did it. We survived. We got the diamond. We killed the
My
bad
character tells his character to write a letter to his wife because they are basically going to have a divorce because the wife doesn't have the same feelings anymore and this and that. So like he writes the letter while the guy's sleeping, this and that. We get out the plane and we're like, we did it, Bob. And then we're surrounded by police and we're like, what the fuck is happening? And then there's
honestly,
a quick cutscene. And his character slow pans the camera to him holding a gun to my character's head. And then there's a story, like a flashback of him basically watching his brother die the day that my character got double-crossed. And it was the same scene. So the guy that double-crossed ended up shooting his brother. So he went undercover as a cop, got sent to the prison, talked to me, so now he double-crossed me. My character went fucking nuts. And then the game went from a co-op game to a 1v1.
Oh, it was dope. And like we both had our own health bars.
We all had
like it
had
was like a boss
health
battle
bars
for each other.
Wow.
Yeah. So I ended up kicking the shit out of Bob.
Oh, the guy who plays FPS games all the fucking time. Who'd have saw that coming?
Yeah, who'd have seen that happening? So what happens is your character, we don't like you shoot each other, but like you're shooting each other this whole time, and then at the end there's like a quick cutscene where the gun falls right there, and then both characters are like trying to like get and like reach
It's
for
like
the gun.
Typical, we had our ass beat and
Yeah.
we're just like crawling slowly.
What we didn't realize was that the more health you had, the faster your character moved.
Oh,
Bob had
I had
what
like-
could
like-
constituted be like 0.5.
I had like
Okay.
3
Out of 100.
pixels of health.
Yeah,
Like,
and I had like 3/4. So when we started to tap X as fast as we fucking could, my character actually moved. His character
mine's
just laid
like-
there. And then he picks up the gun.
like the sloth from
The gun
Zootopia.
turns to his chest. And then I don't have any option other than to pull the trigger and shoot him in the chest.
Like Joe literally pressed every other button he could. And it's like, no, you got to pull the trigger.
You gotta shoot him.
And I'm like, Joe, just do it. Just
And then
take me out of my
and
misery.
now at this
what if
point,
we waited and didn't?
it didn't. We waited for like a couple minutes. I was like, maybe
Oh.
we just don't do it. And then it's just a red shaking screen. I'm like, fuck, I gotta fuck it. So I pressed the button. And now like we're sad. We're like, what the fuck? And now it's more cutscenes of like his fucking widowing wife and like the
my
baby that they
character's-
just had.
My character's last words to you were, make sure my wife gets this letter. And as he's dying, hands him the letter.
I was like, I didn't want to feel. I just shot a mafia guy in the nuts like 37 times.
We made sure to specifically give characters new buttholes. Like that was our plan the whole game.
And
you get a new butthole.
The characters had like very much blood splotty where you shoot. So he was wearing a white suit and it was just red.
Amazing.
Oh, it was fucking phenomenal. And like, it was a really,
Why does it keep hitting me in the dick?
it was an interesting game because it brought you through so many different
Feels.
not even the feel. I mean, the feels, yeah, that was unnecessary. But it was the all the different types of games that were in the game. So like it was like movie cinematics, like quick time events. Then it was like button mashing. At one point, we were going through a fucking hospital.
Oh my god, the hospital chase level might have been my favorite.
So
level
he's
in
getting
that game.
chased, we're getting chased. We keep going back and forth in the cutscenes, and then I had to fucking. It went 2D side scroller like I was playing fucking Tekken. I was just beating the shit out of cops. I'm like, what the fuck is happening in this game? And then it cut back to him.
And like it was like a side scroller platformer.
Yeah, it was
Like it was
Wow.
it was so cool the way they like transitioned from like style to style.
I was very impressed with the transition because it's a story. Like as you're doing this, it is all like a very fluid story.
It's like a playable cutscene.
And at
basically.
no point did it feel like you can't tell where the transitions were, if that makes sense. Like, you know, like you play a game and like you're supposed to end over there, but we actually ended over there, and then the cutscene comes back and we're over there. Like the cutscenes were smooth.
Nice.
I think that was one of the best things that I was like really impressed about.
And it like kept the guns that like you actually had.
Yeah, everything was
in
in the
like,
cutscene that you were wearing, that you had, that you were holding.
blood
It-
splats.
Yeah,
like,
your blood was in. So I was like very impressed with
Wow.
like how this cinematically did everything. It actually ended up being a really good game. I wasn't ready. I really thought it was just gonna be like a silly co-op 2-player game.
like
blah,
oh,
blah,
we
blah.
escaped prison. Haha.
At the end of the fucking thing, it was like it ended up being 3 hours because we were like, it's probably gonna end in 5 minutes. It's probably gonna end in 5 minutes. What the fuck is happening? And then, and then we're like,
the last hour is just like, I thought we were over.
I thought we were friends. I didn't want feels. But yeah, I don't know. It ended up being a really good, fun game. So if you have another person you want to play a co-op game together with, I actually very highly recommend it. It was a really good time. It wasn't really hard. I think we died like 3 times. 2 of them were us being stupid.
Yeah.
No.
Actually, no, we died a lot more because we couldn't figure out how the hostage scene took place.
Yeah, because we were stupid.
Touche. But I saw we got a lot of comments. I can't read. What do we say?
I can't read. All right, let's
I
see.
am
Let's
blind.
That's
scroll
Jake's
back.
name in our Monday D&D game chat.
Kyle. I think I'm going to bring another batch of hot sauces up. Sauces up
socks.
for us to try. We can call the segment "Not Hot Ones." Spacing on all of our physical appearances. Based.
Fuck you.
I gotcha. Then we got Nikon. I accidentally opened up the app when you two were playing baseball, and when I put my phone in my pocket, I hear voices and pull my phone to my pocket to see you playing baseball. I was like, what? We played baseball for like 8 fucking minutes.
We played for way too long.
Yeah, but I got an achievement that said home run. So fucking knocked one out of the goddamn park. Literally, it was a trailer park. Nailed it. Then we got Kyle. I just
damn,
watched
the
a spider cricket
board was low.
cannibalize another smaller spider cricket in my garage. Did you just have that fucking prepped?
You know.
Maybe.
And then Nikon sings Circle of Life. So, things happened. It was fun. Baseball was fun. All the mini games in the game were fucking hilarious because if you get them perfect, you get an achievement for it.
Mhm.
So like
And
every
like, the characters interacted.
yeah.
Like your character's playing, he's like, "Oh, hey Leo, come on over here." Like you can't beat my score. Like
Yeah, it wasn't just like click A, we play baseball.
and like you're throwing and like they'll make comments like, "Oh man, missed that one.
Press
Oh,
A.
I'm too good for you."
Press A to add runtime.
Well, you actually had to so when you were pitching, you were actually pitching. Like you moved the ball up and down, left and right. Like you were actually pitching the fucking thing. So you swing, you were just pressing A. You were trying to time it correctly. But yes, it was much like the slingshot game in the old Simpsons game. Correct. Someone who still has that game on PS2. I heard that they were going to be remastering it. Potentially, I think they might be doing a new hit and run.
I thought that was just a rumor, but if they do, I am all about that. I
hope
think
they
that was
make
one
it-
of my favorite games growing up.
I hope they make it like true to its roots because I see a lot of games nowadays like cloning Crazy Taxi-esque games and just really, really falling flat with it.
Yeah.
There's a YouTuber named Noodle that did a huge rundown on like knockoff Crazy Taxi games and really what made Simpsons Hit and Run so much better than all those like random other bullshit remakes.
Well, hit and run was basically Grand Theft Auto for kids.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Well,
Oh,
the
maybe
big
I'm
thing.
I'm thinking of a different game then.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the Simpsons like Crazy Taxi.
Yes, that's a different one.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I ever played Hit and Run then.
Hit and Run was like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
basically GTA, but with The Simpsons.
Yeah.
And like you, literally, as Homer, you can like steal people's cars and like collect
You could play as different Simpsons.
like coins and that kind of shit.
Can you read that one?
Yeah, I saw that.
So, that reminds me of so I have the NFL Blitz arcade cabinet in my basement, the real one. It's 99.
Guess who helped him move that motherfucker down there?
Yeah, we got some marks on the wall. It was heavy. Arcade 1UP released an NFL Blitz arcade cabinet, and I was like, well, guess we're gonna have two. And then I read that even though it is licensed and it's the original games, they actually edited the games to take out things because NFL is still involved and they don't want it to look that violent. So they took out 4 tackles, specifically the fun ones.
Oh, you mean like the German suplex?
German suplex,
The DDT?
the tackle,
The RKO?
like the fucking major tackle, and one of the other ones that was like ridiculous. And then they took some other stuff out of the game, like some of the words and some of the phrasings and
That's
this
a
and that.
bummer.
And I'm like,
Annoying.
okay, so I'm not buying the new one.
I distinctly remember playing that in your basement, and then I think I was the Broncos and you were the Dolphins, and you beat the fuck out of me in one game. And the announcer went, "They just took those horses to the glue factory," and I just about lost my shit.
Yeah, they what I didn't realize in Blitz 99, the one I have, is the only one, I guess, because it wasn't a console. It was I guess for a while it was arcade only, but now I found the real ROMs for the console. They actually curse in that one.
Really?
Yeah, so you'll be playing, and if you tackle someone and get it at the right animation at the right time, you'll hear the announcer go, "Holy fucking shit!" But it goes, "Holy beep beep."
Amazing.
There's just something about those like arcade sport games that were the best. Like I played the shit out of NHL Hits.
Same
like,
series. It's Midway.
2004. Yeah.
It was Midway. Midway was so ahead of the curve. And then EA bought them,
Blitz.
and now they're gone. They had an MLB one, too. MLB
Slugfest.
Slugfest.
It was basically the exact
It
same
was the
thing.
same
Can
thing,
you
but with
tackle
baseball.
the line, like the people in the baseline?
I think
or-
you could fucking just drill through
I just my favorite thing with Hits is checking people through the glass.
glass. I loved
And
it.
they'd come back in, and then
Yeah.
you could check the goalie.
Yep. And if you got into a fight,
It's a great way to
that
get beat up in
player
hockey.
is out for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So you put out your good line, but if you get fucked up, your good line's gone.
And like it basically turned into like Tekken, where you're just button mashing like the fights.
Oh no. I had a whole
Right?
fucking thing. No, you had
What
you
one
had
was I
you had
thinking of
high
then?
swing or light swing, heavy swing. You had grapple, you had block, and then you had the joystick to like actually duck your characters
right,
around.
that's
That was
right.
it was a full fucking fight mechanic in the game.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yes, that's exactly what they do. The EA buys everything to drop it into the abyss. Actually, they found a way to ruin NFL Blitz even further because they re-released it as a digital-only game that I ended up buying for the PS3. And I was like, oh my God, it's going to be so fun. Brand new Blitz. I'm so ready. And then they fucking took everything fun out of the game right at the end. So EA released it and NFL was like, no, we can't have that. So it still has the cutscenes at the end, like the play's over. And that's where you get to have gratuitous violence for like 2 seconds where you can just
Beat the
Kill
shit
people.
out
Tackle
of
the
someone
whole
else.
enemy team. Yeah.
if you there used to be a code that actually extended that by like 5 seconds so you can get just even more chaos.
The noise they made in
Oh my
NFL
God,
Blitz when
so
you
great.
tackled them is burned into my memory forever.
Because it's
That
fantastic.
very specific. Ugh.
The end of the quarter where you just go X0, 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 and every player tackles someone, and you just hear, "Ugh!"
it would auto target them. So as long as you hit like O to dive and then X to tackle,
You're hitting
You
someone.
just rapid fire, so your character like just take out everybody.
the best thing to do at the end of the quarters. But yeah, in the new one, they just froze it. So you were literally the play ends and then they just stand there as the camera waits for 2 seconds and then you go pick a play. I'm like, that. Why?
Yeah.
They're like, well, we didn't want that much violence because this is a realistic game. I'm like,
excuse me?
My quarterback jumps 43 feet into the air to throw a ball
That's
97 yards.
Yeah.
That's on fire.
Also,
not
he's
to
a
mention,
giant head.
Not to mention the Broncos. Yeah, they're literally Bronco heads because we put in the cheat. But it's fine. I'm sure it's super realistic.
NFL Street wants a word.
That game was also very good. I think that was based on Blitz. I think that was also Midway.
I think there was a FIFA game with that as well, where it was like,
Yeah,
Yes.
but as soon as you hit anybody, they fall on the ground and cry.
Yeah. Well, that was the same. The NFL Street
Yeah.
was the same. That's when they released arguably my favorite NBA game ever because, well, yeah, that's it. Because I don't like NBA games. NBA Street.
yeah,
The game was fucking
that was
phenomenal.
great.
Nice.
I love arcade games.
It was an arcade game, so you could do stupid bullshit. It was just so much fun.
I think one of the things I remember in Blitz that always struck me as really funny is if you caught up to somebody you were chasing, you just grab the person running around the waist and then suplex them backwards.
Or grab the arm and just fucking huck them backwards like 8 yards, and they're like, "Yep, that's where they were." But yeah, that was fun times.
Oh well.
Yeah. So I don't know. I hate all the remakes that they're doing now, where they're like censoring the remakes and like changing things about the game. It just feels
Disingenuous cash
Yeah,
grab?
yeah.
Oh, from EA?
everyone is doing it.
No.
Everyone
Yeah,
is
I know,
doing it.
I know.
They're like, we're remaking the game. Look at all these new graphics. Also, nothing is the same. Like, yeah.
I haven't seen a really original game concept in a really, really long time. Even the games I like the best are remakes.
Mm-hmm.
Because Doom 2016 is an homage to the old Dooms, right? And they use the same formula. And then Doom Eternal is just a better Doom 2016.
Yeah. I had an idea for a Halloween costume that I think is, first of all, I'm upset with the company that I am about to say because they missed a golden opportunity.
Okay.
Okay, so Doom, what's his tagline? Like, what's the Doom guy's like big thing?
Rip and tear?
Right. Glad trash bags. What's their phrase?
I don't know. Doesn't rip, doesn't tear?
Max Rip Tear Protection. It's on the fucking box already. Why did they not have a commercial with the Doom guy ripping enemies apart and then trying to get a trash bag and just be like, huh, huh. It writes itself.
Because
is
the
pretty
game's
good.
marketed to teenagers? I don't know.
They could have had it. Doom is for our age. We have houses. We buy trash bags. You know how many men would be like, yeah, I'm going to go pick up some trash bags just for the fucking box with the Doom guy on it? You were saying cardboard is strong. Make a fucking cardboard Doom box. I can just put the fucking helmet on. Be like, sponsored by Glad. In the back of my head.
Meanwhile, I'm over here. I'm like, I like the Animal Crossing Doom crossover because the games came out on the same day.
That's all Elena knows from Doom is that because she loves Animal Crossing. She's like, Doom guy with the thing, right? What does he do? And I'm like, don't.
Him and Isabel have great adventures together.
Let me tell you, he's really good at cutting down trees.
You know,
Yes.
It's
Rip and tear trees.
Rip and tear through this pine.
Definitely.
yeah, Rocket League was one of the most original things
Yeah.
outside of Little Big Planet. That was also a very big thing.
I'm sure you guys saw there was a golf game that recently came out
Which one?
that was basically Rocket League but golf.
Oh yeah, we played it.
I haven't seen enough of it, but when I first
It's Rocket League with
when I
golf.
first saw, I thought it was literally just a game mode in Rocket League.
Yeah, I thought it was actually owned by Rocket League. I thought that they put out a new game, and then I found out they didn't.
The more you know.
Yep, it's not.
Oh, backyard baseball. Yes.
Pablo Sanchez was fucking OP as shit. He had no business being that much better than everyone else in the game.
I remember playing backyard hockey when I was a kid.
I didn't even know they made that one.
They had backyard baseball, hockey, basketball, football.
I remember the two.
Like they had all the other backyard sports. And like I'm sitting there, I'm like, why don't they make backyard NASCAR?
Just have kids pushing
been
other
awesome.
kids.
It's
That
like
would
a
have been
cul-de-sac with go-karts.
that would have been dope as hell.
Well, that was what Lego was
Bring
for.
back backyard games.
No, don't do it. They'll fucking ruin it. They'll take
that's
it
fair.
and they'll fucking ruin it. Just leave it. Let it die.
Pablo Sanchez 4 overall because fuck you and your nostalgia.
Yeah, exactly.
One of you guys in the chat, go ahead and tell us what your favorite nostalgia video game is.
Ooh.
It doesn't have to be good by today's standards. Just your favorite nostalgia game.
I have really fond memories of GoldenEye.
Yeah.
I never owned the game. Between GoldenEye and Mario Kart 64. I remember when I was a kid, I would go over to my cousin's house like once a year because they lived out in PA. We would play Mario Kart 64, trying to get 100 wins for the first one of us to get 100 wins on Wario Stadium. Just loved like growing up with that and playing that, trying to get to 100 because it only had 2 digits in the place.
Yeah. Did you know you
And
could,
we're like, would it go to 100 or would it go back to 0?
Did you know in GoldenEye, if you plug in 2 controllers, you could actually basically play it like DualShock style? There's
No
apparently like 3 options for controller setups, and one of them is actually like move using
That
2
would've been
controllers.
amazing.
Yeah, no one fucking knew that.
Huh.
It's apparently somewhere buried in the manual.
Well, they did announce GoldenEye, the GoldenEye remake, coming to the Switch.
Just
Yeah,
like they remade
we'll see.
Pinocchio 4 fucking times
And it got worse.
last year.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah. Well, what's his name was in that one? No, Tom Hanks.
Yeah, it was still bad.
It's on my Plex. I haven't watched it yet.
Don't.
Yeah, if anything, watch the pitch meeting.
Yeah.
Which, if you guys haven't seen it, check out the YouTube channel Pitch Meeting.
Uh-huh.
It's one guy playing as a producer and a writer, and it's like him talking to himself.
Oh boy,
It is hands down my favorite YouTube channel.
I see.
Because like they'll go in and it's like literally like this writer saying, well, here's this movie, and the producer guy is just like, okay, well, why? Because. Or like, oh, why did he do this? So the movie can happen. Or
It's going to be really hard for him to do that. No, it's going to be super
Exposition.
easy. Barely inconvenience.
oh, really? Yeah, you see, and then he'll like go into it.
Got it.
You
all right,
need
so
to
you gotta
check it out.
that
It's amazing.
Nikon in the chat says Super Mario Brothers 3. Yes, I know I am dating myself. Or Final Fantasy 1. I've never played a single player Final Fantasy game.
I try, but I can't do the.
I think I played that on the NES.
I think that's where it was.
Wow.
I think that was the NES game. That was the only one, and I was terrified of the game. That game actually scared me.
Really?
Wow. Kyle says the Tiny Toons Sega games and Street Fighter are my nostalgia
Holy
games.
shit! I have that cartridge. That game. I ended up. Where the fuck was I? I was flipping through an emulator in my NVIDIA thing, and it just happened to end up on the Tiny Toons, and I was like, well. Fucking 7-year-old me is about to have a nostalgia trick. And then I played soccer and I beat the shit out of everyone because my hands still know everything. I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know the controls. My brain doesn't know the controls. My hands fucking autopilot. I knew exactly what I was doing. The fucking turbo jump kicked right through the fucking soccer net. Can't block it. They just can't fucking block it.
Unbeatable, man.
Holy shit. I love going through my old collection because I had so many Sega games. As a kid, you were like, oh yeah, you didn't have that many games. They made so many. Now looking back, I was like, I had like almost 30 Sega games, which like, as a kid who didn't have money to go buy the games, that's a lot of fucking Sega games.
Oh my god, yeah. Like the amount of PS2 games that I have is insane.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite games that I played was called Stuntman.
Why do I remember that?
And Stuntman 1 was great. Stuntman 2 sucked. But you literally were a stuntman and worked on fake movies. And like you had to do the stunt drive and like, oh, get here. And as you're driving the course,
I remember
the
that.
director is in your ear like, through the gap, turn here, get close, hit the tower, jump the bridge. It was
What is this, like video game Bop It?
basically
Pretty much.
It was so cool, and it was such an original idea at the time. I would love to see that game get remastered. And there was a whole like crash section as well, where you could just like build ramps and shit. Like you build your own like map and set up ramps, and like as you progress through the game, you unlock more ramps and jumps and cars and vehicles.
I remember that.
And like you could just go on a sandbox mode.
Wow.
And just do jumps and flips and all this other stuff. Like it was so cool for a PS2 game, like to have that. And it basically had soft body physics too.
That just reminded me of a game that they'll probably never release again. Twisted Metal.
Oh man.
I had so many. Do you remember? So the last, I don't know if it's the last one they made.
Spectre was my guy.
But I remember playing through Twisted Metal Black for PS2. And
I never played that.
It is so... I mean, I'm not going to say it's like phenomenal, but every character had a story. So you had to play through and like win the levels. And it would unlock like little movies that your character then... like why they did this and how they got here. And like a couple of them, I was like 12 or 13. A couple of them were like actually like terrifying. And looking back now, it's a rated M game for a reason.
Yeah.
Like Sweet Tooth in his fucking movie was lighting people on fire, and it wasn't in the game, it was in the movie. So like that was real. They had real actors.
Sweet Tooth genuinely scared me.
Yeah.
I think my fear of clowns comes from Sweet
Straight
Tooth.
from Sweet Tooth?
Like clowns do actually scare me. And Sweet Tooth with the like special noise, absolutely horrifying.
God, you got to be careful about what you put in that chat. I think you just got put on a list, dude. I'm not going to say that out loud. I understand the sentiment, but shit.
You almost got us. But, oh my God. Yeah, I remember all those. Like, looking back, eventually, at some point, my basement will be finished, and we could do a couple episodes with, like, nostalgia trips, and I have, like, capture cards set up, and I have all my consoles, and I'm up to, like, 70-something consoles. I have a problem. We'll hit up some retro games, not emulated, of, like, childhood games and stuff like that, and we'll have some fun chats and stuff like that.
I'm excited. Like, just to be able, like, for the thought of being able to play Twisted Metal again.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember I had a wireless controller, and I don't know why they never actually, like, moved it, but in the wireless controller I had, the R1 and L1 were on top, but the R2, L2 were actually, like, sunk in. So, like, where your middle fingers would just kind of naturally lie in the controller or where the clickers were. And it was so fucking, like, nice. Remember when third-party controllers were wild?
oh my God, the Mad Cats.
When, yeah, would you fucking flick the thing over here for turbo, click the other one for what button is gonna turbo, fucking who had wireless, who had this new thing that no one else had.
I never used an aftermarket controller.
Really?
Never.
Some,
because
some of them were fantastic.
Whenever I had the PS2 and I had the GameCube, and Kaz had got us the Xbox, every single wireless controller we tried, other than the Wavebird, was dog shit. Everett bought a PS2 wireless controller. You couldn't move more than 3 feet from the receiver, and if you were too high or too low, it would cut out.
Yeah.
So it must have been the RF one.
Yeah.
That needed like literal like eye
needed
contact.
line of sight.
But I tried several ones after that, like aftermarket ones for the Xbox or the PS2, and I could just never ever find a good one.
Yeah.
But once I got that Wavebird for GameCube, I never put that motherfucker down.
Yeah. I have there. I think I still have a couple of them. When Blockbuster was going out of business, they had everything on clearance, and they had these piece of shit GameCube controllers. You might even remember the fucking orange ones we had.
Oh yeah,
Those things were fucking no, they weren't see through. Might as well have been, but they were just these orange chungus controllers.
Oh, and they were way too light.
Way too
They
light.
didn't feel like a regular controller. They felt like you were holding like
Buttons were wrong. Everything was
plastic
wrong.
bag.
They were on sale for like $2, so I bought
no
like
vibration.
5. Oh God, no. You pay extra for that. They were $1, Bob.
Well,
So I remember I think I still have one of them. The other one broke because it was a shocker.
it's like Kyle said, Mad Cat's the Wild West of game controllers.
Yeah, I still have some Mad Catz shit. Like I have an old steering wheel for the PS2. My mom was like, "Why don't you throw that out? You have so many new ones." I'm like, "No. That is specifically for that console, and that one is for that console. If you touch it, I'll kill you." Because this is when we were moving, and they were just like, "Well, just throw it away." I'm like, "We throw that away, you're gonna go in the dumpster."
I'm throwing you away.
But I have. Do you know they made Mad Catz the last? I think. I don't know if they're still making controllers. I think one of the last things they made was the Rock Band 4 instruments. I think that was like the last thing that they made that I remember. Yeah, they didn't make it themselves. They actually got Mad Catz to do it. But their controllers were the fucking, oh man, who had what went where, what controllers were the weird ones. They had ones that didn't look ergonomic at all.
Mad Catz went bankrupt in 2017, but came back in 2018. It is
That's a very short-lived bankruptcy.
It's incorporated in China and Taiwan, and its headquarters are in Kowloon, Hong Kong.
Was it the same company? Like, is it now the same owners? There's no way. How do you go bankrupt and then in less than a year?
Mad Catz Global Limited, formerly Mad Catz Interactive Inc., is an American Chinese-based company that provides interactive entertainment products marketed under Mad Catz, Game Shark, and Triton.
I think they bought Game Shark years ago.
Oh wow.
I have Game Sharks. I have I have a Game Shark for the NES, and I had no fucking idea how to use it. I had a YouTube how the fuck it worked.
Yeah, because like you had to put it in, but like you have to leave the door open. But with the NES, you have to have the thing pushed down.
So the way it works with the NES Game Shark is that the game goes in the Game Shark, and then that goes in the NES, and that's what tricks it to keep the lid open to do the thing with the. I was like, what the. Like, I have Game Sharks that I've never used because I picked them up at, like, swap meets or, like, whatever. I have 3 Game Sharks for the N64. And the reason I have 3 is because there was no online at the time. So the year you bought the Game Shark was the year that had the cheats on that Game Shark.
Yep.
So you might have a Game Shark that you go put in that has no cheats for the game you have because it didn't exist yet. So I think I have, like, 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3.
Yeah.
Fuck if I know what the differences are.
I loved using the Game Shark to like unlock like all the levels, and like I felt so cool.
See, I never got to use one.
That like my cousin had one for the 64. So like was it Donkey Kong 64? I guess it was, where like we just like unlocked all of the characters and like all this other stuff, and I'm like, I am so cool right now. Like I have every character, and my friends are gonna be so jealous.
I kind of did that with Smash Brothers when I was a kid. Like, I would go over people's houses and they wouldn't have like Captain Falcon, and I'd be like, "Would you like me to unlock Captain Falcon for you?" And they were like, "Could you?
You can?"
Do you see? This was the one I remember hucking controllers across my room. That was when I first got my wireless, and I had my Sega in my bedroom, up on top of my little dresser with my little 13-inch TV. And whenever I get mad, I'd be like, fuck! And I threw the controller. But, you know, it's on like a 4-inch string. So, like, it'll just whip down on the floor, and then the Sega will go flying, and then it'll kind of just dangle by the power cable, and then you put it all back together. You hope the game didn't freeze.
Oh, man, you just gave me some weird-ass deja vu,
The
dude.
game obviously froze. So you got to reset the game. Now you're even more angry. I remember when I got the PlayStation 2, when I first got the wireless controller, I got angry at the game, and I was like, fuck! And I just threw it. And it just went. And I was like, oh, God, there's no wire. Broke that one. That one, no return.
My nostalgia game is Banjo-Kazooie.
Ooh.
I
never played Banjo-Kazooie.
Same.
Holy shit.
Any of those games.
Same, because I didn't have an
Really?
N64. So I went from Sega Genesis to PlayStation to PS2, and then at that point, I had a problem, and then I bought everything. So it was PS2, and then that whole generation,
Yeah.
and then moving forward, I just fucking, that was that.
No, so like babysitting my little brothers, I don't know why, but like they loved watching me play Banjo-Kazooie, so I ended up playing the ever-living shit out of
Bright
it.
colors.
Oh, yeah. Well, specifically, so
Music.
Ethan
Music.
would sit next to me when he was incredibly young, like 2 or 3. And I'd be playing Banjo-Kazooie, and I'd be, you know how the camera, oh, you don't know because you didn't play it.
Mhm.
The camera in the game was really wonky, where if you walked up to like walls and stuff, the camera would like zoom in on you. because
Oh,
the
that's a lot
camera
of games back
couldn't
then.
go past the
Yeah.
wall. So
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about. If you jumped and did like the up air attack, Kazooie would come out of the backpack and go and like attack, but her head would come out of the backpack. If you turned around when you were real close to the camera and did it at the camera, the heads would pop out like real close and make that noise. Ethan would lose his fucking mind laughing at that. I could do that for like 5 minutes straight, and he'd be rolling on the floor with tears coming out of his eyes.
That's hilarious. Oh,
So what would your, you mentioned your like progress from like system to system.
mm-hmm.
What did your gaming progress look like? Because for me, it was NES,
Mm-hmm.
PS1, PS2, Xbox 360,
Mm-hmm.
Xbox One, PC.
Mhm.
Funny enough, in that order.
So remember how I said I have like 70 something consoles?
Oh no.
Yeah. So I started with the Genesis. I got it when I was 3. I think my grandparents gave it to me. So I started off with Sonic, and then I had an addiction early on because I also I didn't have a lazy eye, but my eye couldn't go up all the way. Like one of my eyes, like it can go up a little bit, but like it was struggling. And I remember I always had to do the flashlight thing to like train my eye. And then I got Sonic. And to follow that little fucker around the screen, you really got to move your eyes. So I remember going to the doctor when I was really little, and the doctor was like, wow, his eye is improving so great. What have you been doing? And my mom's like, he's playing that video game, Sonic. And he goes, keep doing that. I was like, yeah.
Thanks, Doc.
So I don't have a lazy eye
Spent
anymore.
all fucking day on Sega doing this.
Yeah, no, head still, eyes move. That's the problem. It was a small screen. You didn't have to
I
move
know,
your
but
head
the
yet.
camera wouldn't pick
Yeah.
that up.
So-
I had to exaggerate it.
So back in the day, TVs were like this big, so you didn't have to move your head.
Back in my day.
Back in the day, they told us not to get too close to TVs, and now we wear them as hats.
Yeah, don't get too close because you'll burn your eyes and you'll lose vision. And now it's like, yeah, cool.
Me sim racing.
Yeah, how close could we get? So I had the Genesis. Then I remember on my birthday, my parents got me the Game Gear, to which I said, what the fuck is that? I can't play real games on that. I have to go get new games. I was little. I had no idea what the fuck I was talking about, but they returned the Game Gear and came back with a Nomad, which apparently existed. So I could play my regular Sega games on the go.
I had a Game Gear, and I exclusively played the X-Men side-scroller on it.
I have that.
And
If you want to run down memory lane,
I never got past the first level because I
that's
tried to
because
play
their
it.
games were hard as fuck.
Oh, yeah. I tried to play it as a 5-year-old. I got fucked up.
Every Sega game was hard.
That was me with Super Mario World,
Yeah?
like the Game Boy game.
So,
Pain in the dick to play.
so I got that. Then after the Nomad, I got the Game Boy Color. We skipped regular Game Boy. And then PlayStation. Then I think we got a PlayStation 2 first. Then we got the Xbox and then GameCube. It was in that order. Because I only have like 5 GameCube games because,
You know what's funny?
Then
That you-
all of them.
That you mentioned the Game Boy Color. I bought Game Boy Color and Pokemon Blue version with my own money. That was like the first game system that I ever bought myself.
Nice.
Was because I went to a Trenton Thunder game as a kid and I won a dancing competition where it was just like them like filming kids in a crowd dancing.
Love that.
I won it. And the radio station that promoted that contest is the radio station I work for now.
Oh, that's
Amazing.
fantastic.
And the guy who was the MC at the place
yeah.
wound up being my mentor in college and now good friend of mine.
Huh.
And
Wow.
because of that person and my current job, I was able to buy Game Boy Color and Pokemon Blue version as a little kid.
That's fantastic.
And I brought it on vacation. I specifically remember playing Pokemon Blue version, fighting Misty on vacation, sitting at the pool. Like
Amazing.
I remember the exact moment. Like
You want to remember? Here's how sad it was in my house. I was a Pokemon fan. I had the cards. I had the games. My brother, I'm a child. We had 3 kids. My brother, me, and my sister. My sister is 5 years older. My brother's 2 years younger. Pokemon came out. I have Pokemon Yellow. I have Pokemon Silver. I have Pokemon Gold. I have a link cable. I still have the link cable. None of them wanted to play fucking Pokemon, so I would have to steal one of their Game Boys.
I did the same thing to Everett.
Yeah, when they weren't playing, so I could trade my fucking self like a fucking loser kid because no one else wanted to play Pokemon.
hey, give me that Charmander for a Rattata.
Yeah.
Okay, now give me that that Bulbasaur for a Rattata.
You got it,
Have
me.
all 3.
Yeah, you got it, me. And then that's the battery that died first. I was going through my... I had to go change the batteries out. That's the ones that died first. My gold game was still good. I called that my bitch game because it had all the shitty Pokemon I didn't want. And that battery was still fine. I turned on my silver. The battery died. I'm like, you sons of bitches.
Nothing made anyone cooler than having a fully upgraded and tricked out Game Boy.
Mm.
Like with the
700
magnifying
fucking,
glass, the light,
Oh yeah.
the
Somewhere.
fucking
extended
camera and
battery pack.
printer.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I have the
Extra
light
mag.
somewhere. You had to click it in the side, and then it did this like little twirls, kind of like this.
Mm.
And then there was just it must have been like a
It
single
was like
LED.
a single LED, yeah.
It looked like a fucking street lamp.
And
you
you
had to,
think
like-
it was even an LED.
I think it had to be. It couldn't have been a halogen. It was too much wattage. So
Yeah?
it had to be a single LED light. But like it was like this many. So like you're still, and whoever's in the chat, I'm gonna blow your minds if you had Game Boys because you're gonna get a nostalgia trip. Sitting in the back of the car, trying to play a game,
Yep.
and just going street light, click, 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 out, street lights.
Oh
gone.
yeah.
Street light, click, 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 out, street lights gone.
I was never allowed to play with music though.
No headphones. Gotta have
Same.
headphones on.
Kaz
you
used to yell
turn-
at me
turn that
every
shit
time
off.
he heard a little tone come from the Game Boy.
Yeah.
Like my parents would even get mad whenever I'd like turn it on and make the ding
Yeah.
noise.
Yeah, it's annoying.
I'm like,
Turn it
no,
off.
I'm sorry, my sound.
know,
No, turn it off.
I didn't have my headphones on. I'm sorry.
Do 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 do.
Hey, we're gonna copyright strike.
Robert
Don't fuck around with Nintendo.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
You can play it off key, but that's about it.
My progression for consoles, well, for video games is much, much different. When I was like 5 or 6,
Yeah, it was.
Kaz gave me my first computer.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, my older cousin Dana let me play Wario World on her Game Boy OG, like the gray brick.
Yeah, the big one.
Yep. And then simultaneously, I got an N64.
Mm.
So my first gaming experience was I got a 2-pack game that was MechWarrior 2 combo pack. It had 31st Century Combat and Ghost Bear's Legacy tied into one game,
I had that game.
and Need for Speed.
Yes.
Which one? Just Need for Speed.
Need for Speed.
Yes.
The Need for Speed. And I started playing the shit out of that. And I kind of like Need for Speed, but I fell in love with MechWarrior. And I'm pretty sure that's what spurred my sci-fi interest.
Mm.
So I started playing that hard, and I was terrible because I was a little kid. So I'd enter cheat codes to get through each level and shit like that.
Mm.
But I ended up playing it. I kind of moved away from PC gaming for a while, and I stuck with N64. I had Banjo-Kazooie, Legend of Zelda, like all the quintessential best N64 games.
Mm.
And then the next gen of consoles came out, and I had gotten like the MechWarrior Xbox game, and it sucked. 360, I got the 360, the PS3, and the GameCube. I had all at the same time. Everett got the Wii. I never really played it.
Do you want to hear a fun fact about the MechWarrior Xbox game original?
What?
You use that to hack your Xbox.
Really?
Mhm.
That's hilarious.
You open up the LAN port to connect to a game,
Uh-huh.
and MechWarrior had a bug that it opened up like the whole Xbox, and then you could use a PC to basically ROM dump the new ROM.
That's hilarious.
and then when you restarted the Xbox, that's how you got.
so
That's
like
amazing.
here's where they all intersect because of MechWarrior. I started playing MechWarrior 4 competitively when I was like kind of not very happy with MechAssault. And I fell into that, like, that was my first competitive gaming experience. And I think I was like maybe 14 or 15 or something like that. And I fucking slapped at that game. I was in like one of maybe the top 10 of teams, like lower end of the top 10, maybe 9 or 10. And that always kind of stuck with me. But MechWarrior Online came out relatively after that. And I think I've clocked like 5,000 hours in that game. I was in the best team in the world for the entire competitive run of that game. So I started with a team, and they were like wouldn't listen to me, and there was only one other good person on the team. And finally, I went into an open match, and the best player in the entire game, his gamer tag was Koreanese, and he was super nice. And we were like in an open comm channel on the MechWarrior like TeamSpeak server, and I just happened to be in his channel, and I popped over a hill, and I just blew some dude's face off with like a shoulder-mounted heavy autocannon. And he pipes up, and he was like, "Wait, and aren't you in my channel?" And I was like, "Oh. Yeah, was that you?" And he was like, "Yeah, why don't you come play on our server?" And I was like, "Yeah, all right." So what he did was he went around and he cherry picked all the best players out of all the best teams, and we just went on a fucking stomp. We were so good they stopped inviting us to tournaments because they knew we would win. We were undefeated for 4 years. No other team even came close to beating us. We would join the match.
Love that.
So our team name was the House of the Lords. We would join the match, say, like, my name was N Crescendo. I'd say, "Lord N Crescendo, good game, close," at the start of the match. We got banned from a league for beating a team in 28 seconds.
Oh my God.
We ran down the center of the map in a straight line at them in all the same mech, painted all the same color, and just absolutely fucking walloped their whole team. And the league was like, "That's harassment, you're banned." And I was like, "Why?" And they were like, "It's unsportsmanlike." It's like, "What, do you want us to wait a minute before we do that?" Like, what the fuck? And then I also got banned out of a couple other teams' Discords because I did a scrim versus that old team that I was on that said sucked. And we started the match, and I think it was like 35 seconds in, as soon as I got in weapons range, I jumped up from behind a hill and blew out the cockpit of my old squad leader, so I one-shot him, disconnected from my TeamSpeak, connected to his TeamSpeak, and went, "Ooh, dude, that sucks." And he banned me immediately and talked shit about me for the rest of the time we played that game. But that's what really got me into like wanting to be competitive, and I've never been that good at a game since.
So for me, that was Counter-Strike. I skipped PC.
Never played it.
PC, I got a PC in like 1998 or 1999. My dad bought one home. It was a piece of shit. It was like an office computer. I was like, well, obviously the first thing we do is put a graphics card in it. How do I do that? I don't have the internet. I have to figure this out.
Joe became himself.
If CompUSA didn't exist, I don't know what I'd be doing. Like, I know they are defunct now, and I think they're like a company in Florida, kind of. They're not the same. But if old CompUSA didn't exist, I don't know what I'd be. It's like Best Buy now has like the gaming section with like graphics cards. CompUSA was like a store about the size of Best Buy that was just for computer shit.
Whoa, what?
What?
CompUSA is Tiger Direct.
Yeah, they kind of merged.
Oh, Tiger Direct bought them.
Yeah.
Absorbed into Tiger Direct.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Tiger Direct kind of shit the bed, so don't.
Yeah, they got sued a lot for not.
They got a lot of things wrong.
the first big trouble they got into was they were, if you didn't cash in the manufacturer rebate during a certain period of time, they would do it for you and keep the money.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they got caught doing that and got sued for like millions of dollars.
They did a lot of things wrong, but I remember I used to order from Tiger Direct and Newegg when Newegg was great, and now Newegg is not.
Yeah, no.
Newegg is like Amazon.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
Yeah. But I remember that was my PC transition, was putting a graphics card in a computer and then getting like 14 FPS in Counter-Strike 1.6. So I'd only play Scouts Knives Winter because everything was white, so I can get like 18 FPS.
Ooh.
Because if I played Dust and stuff, I get like 7. So it was like completely unplayable.
Oh God!
It was emotional damage.
You should have just let that one play out.
Yeah, you should have let that one play out. So I finally remember getting like a new computer, probably in like 2005, 2000, somewhere there around 2004, 2005.
Yep.
And I remember I was like, 100 FPS. I could play the game. And then I started playing, and people were like, what the fuck happened to you?
Because he got so used to playing it at like 7 FPS that he actually became like really
I
good at it because
transcended.
he had to be.
So like I would just be like click, 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 and they'd be like, what the fuck is actually happening? I'd be like, yeah, welcome to I Could Game Now, bitches. And then I started playing comp.
That was me when when you gave me the PC that I have now. Because like when I was little, yeah, I'd play like there was this game Whiplash that I remember playing on that came with our HP computer.
Oh, these are movies, not slideshows.
Like it was at like like you said, like 12 frames per second. And it was some kind of racing game where it was almost like a precursor to Burnout.
Okay.
But like your goal was to like wreck out the other cars, and when you wreck them out, it would just yell fatality, just like Mortal Kombat.
So it's like 7 games they just smashed together. It was like,
Pretty much.
here you go.
And I think I still have the disc for the game somewhere.
Wow.
I have a disc that I pray I can get working. It got so fucked up. It was from Sam's Club. It doesn't exist on the internet. I can't fucking find it anywhere because of the like what the game is. It was called Game Explosion 500. It was 1 CD. There was a Godzilla on the disc and on the box.
Okay.
It had 500 games on the CD.
Holy shit.
None of them was Godzilla.
Okay.
But one of the games in the disc that I played the fuck out of was Wolfenstein, the original one. The game that was a 500 game pack was just 500 trial games.
Oh.
So I
remember those CDs.
Yeah. So I had the first like 1 or 2 levels of Wolfenstein. So I always used to play Wolfenstein. Fuck, I didn't know what I was shooting at when I was like 7, shooting fucking Nazis with like a machine gun.
7-year-old Joe running across the house in his pajamas. I'm gonna kill Hitler.
Yeah. Like, I didn't even know what the fuck I was shooting at. I didn't even realize those were Nazis. So like there were so many fun games, and now I'm looking back, and a lot of the games So one of the games I loved playing that I think you would actually like a lot, it was a kart game, like a kart racing game, but it was wacky as fuck. Like probably honestly super racist. Like the Asian guy was super fat. The American person was like a hot model. The Indian guy looked like the villain or one of the fighters from Street Fighter, like super lengthy.
Yeah.
So like everything about the game was like kind of probably racist, but it was like a 2D/3D-esque kart racer game, and it was fun. And I can't remember the name. I can't remember anything about it. So I just went into Google, into like the archive.com, because that's where all like the old games are. And I was like, kart game DOS. Fucking first one popped up, full emulatable. And I'm like,
Nice.
That's what I'm doing at work today. And I beat the game.
Funny you mentioned that. I found the game that I was talking about on.
Is it on archive? Oh, Abandonware.
Abandonware.
That's also great because that means it's the full game.
Nice.
And I very specifically remember
That looks
these
exactly
games.
like Crazy Taxi.
You know what I just remembered
This
that I played?
scene specifically, I could not ever make that jump as a kid.
You know what I just remembered that I played even before like Counter-Strike? Do you remember the AOL chat room games?
Oh yeah,
I was not
played-
allowed to do those.
Oh,
I love those games. And the gummy ones. What the fuck? What are the Lifesavers? Who owns Lifesavers? Or it might have just been Lifesavers.
It's probably just Lifesavers.
If you go to lifesavers.com, it was like a full arcade. And they had everything. And one of the big ones that they had was billiards. And it was full online. You could
yeah.
actually invite
my
other
God,
people.
we used to
Yes.
play that in our computer classes. Actually, if you ask Jake Rizzo, that was how we met, in a computer class, and we'd play games off that site with each other across computers, and we did it so much we got it banned.
Yeah, it got blocked by Surfwatch.
And
Remember Surfwatch?
but the AOL chat room game I played, like I didn't find games like that back then, like not those like little silly ones. That were like themed or company driven. I found this chat room game that was called Splat Paintball,
I used to play that.
and I used to like beg my grandpa, because you have to pay like $2 every time you got on. to play it.
There was a full program for it.
I only ever played it directly through the AOL interface.
So I used to play from the actual program. I remember that game.
I'm gonna see if I can find it.
Oh man,
Splatterball Plus, maybe that's what it was.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember
That's
doing
what I
those,
remember.
like going on like Mini Clip
Yeah.
and playing all those games.
Addicting
Even, like-
games.
Yeah. Oh my god, addicted games and playing like the Bubble Buddy games.
Yeah.
Or like the
You know what bothers me now the most? All of those games have now been remade into phone games that you have to pay for or are specifically worse than what they were before.
oh yeah, and it's all adware.
It's all ad. So I actually go back again on archive.com and I go play the old Flash games because Flash is dead. So you can play it through the browser. So if anyone wants to play your old Flash games, archive.com.
Oh my god, those were.
I
so
remember
much
that
fun.
game.
This is it. Yeah,
That's
it's called Splatterball.
Holy shit, that's a core memory.
Oh my god.
That's what wanted me to play paintball.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, I used to play this in my grandpa's basement because he had an office with 2 computers. Or no, he had an office with 1 desk and 1 computer, and he'd be doing like all financial stuff for the. Oh my god, I haven't seen that fucking image in years. He used to be like doing taxes or whatever. I don't know. I'm like literally on a an adding machine, not an electronic calculator, an adding machine.
Oh
it
my
had the
God,
little spool
yes.
of paper,
Mhm.
and he used to be like doing his business stuff on that. And I used to be like, Grandpa, can I get another 2 hours on Splatterball? And he'd be like, yeah, sure, fuck it. Just like bought a bunch of hours for me.
That's
Oh
awesome.
my god,
that's
what
funny.
a fucking memory right there. Jeez.
Yeah, I remember that. And then once I got Steam, they had the mod for Half-Life for digital paintball. That's where I learned you could break mouse wheels. So that was a lesson learned.
Do you remember as a kid taking people's mice apart, cleaning the rollers on the mouse wheel, and then putting the mouse back together, and other kids thinking you were a fucking wizard?
I remember taking the mouse balls out and then just not putting them back.
Yep.
I remember in high school, you used to steal parts out of the school computers,
I used to
but
do
not
that.
enough to make them not work.
No, I used to take like 1 stick of RAM.
One RAM stick or the video card, and then plug the monitor into the dedicated motherboard port.
In my current job that I've been at for now over 11 years, in one of the little areas is a Harman Kardon set of PC speakers, the white ones. Well, they're yellow. They were white. On the side of that power plug that is in the wall, it says
4 letters.
FTHS 06.
Freehold Township High School.
I didn't need them anymore, but I still had them.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I have a lot of old shit
I
from there.
remember you walking over to one of those computers with an open backpack,
Mm-hmm.
and you had already unplugged it ahead of time so nobody would know. And you waited until the teacher looked the other direction, just went, stuffed them in your backpack, zipped it up, and walked away.
I used to do so much.
Oh
So
my
there was a
God.
CD. I doubt it. Well, it might still work. Back in the day, I didn't remember the name for a long time, but it finally like came to me. Like I was like thinking about something else, and then that popped into my head, and I was like, the name. There was a program called Off Crack, and you could install this CD and run it at the boot of the computer. So instead of running Windows, you run the CD. That CD would then gather every password used to log into that computer.
Oh,
so I
no.
put it into the first computer in the library. You know, the one everyone uses. Turns out they don't clear that computer when people leave. So it had like 4,000 logins,
Holy shit.
including the admin.
Oh no.
So I logged in as the admin. Everyone got a Sega Genesis emulator on the entire network, and like 8 ROMs. I was like, it's small, no one will notice. And then what I didn't realize looking back, because I didn't know this, the townships were all connected. So when I put the Genesis emulator on one, I actually put it on everything across multiple high schools.
In the district.
In the district.
That was like 8 different towns.
yeah, good times.
Do you remember when we were running the flash drive heists where we'd put emulators on the flash drives and boot them up on the school computers because it let you run executables off the flash drive still.
Yeah, I
We
used to
would play-
VPN to my
Oh,
computer.
we would
Yeah.
do that. We would do that all the time when I was in high school too.
Yep.
I used to run. What I found out was the hack was to put portable Mozilla on your flash drive and then run Mozilla on the flash drive,
Yep.
so that Surfwatch wouldn't work. And then you had full access.
Yep.
Going on Facebook or sorry, MySpace.
It was MySpace. It's absolutely MySpace.
So you have this
Yes,
chocolate.
I
here.
do. So I
You
found
said
this.
It was special.
It is special. So I found this.
All chocolate is special.
No, this one's super
that's true.
special because it's not. Well, it is milk chocolate.
Hershey's chocolate's not special.
It is milk chocolate, but it's not milk.
Unless you get
chocolate.
the Hershey special chocolate.
What is it then?
So I was at where the fuck was I?
IKEA.
Up north. No,
Where
this is
any
not
of us
IKEA. This is Lindt. Though I do have IKEA chocolate. It's delicious. But I was up in Woodbury Commons, and they have a Lindt place in there. So we went in, and I grabbed some Lindt chocolate because I have a problem. And then I saw this, and I was like, "What the fuck is that? I've never seen that." And I wanted to try it, but I was like, "Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'll wait, and we'll try it on the chat." So this is chocolate that is milk chocolate that is not milk chocolate, and I don't know how it'll taste, and I don't know.
What do you mean that's milk
Well,
chocolate? that
I'll
is not
tell
milk
you
chocolate?
after you try it.
Well, now I'm nervous.
That's the point. Everyone can get a couple bars.
I'm afraid.
I'm interested.
So if you're listening on the podcast, I'm sure you can hear the foil.
Crinkle, crinkle, crinkle. I'm foil.
All right, there you go. Here's your two chocolates.
Thank you.
Here's your two chocolates.
Thank you.
And here's my two chocolates. So I don't know what the fuck this is gonna taste like. Smells good. Ow. So it is still milky.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
I'm still getting
different
milk chocolate out of this.
aftertaste. I taste what it is. That's actually really fucking good though.
I'm just tasting milk chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing else on the tail end?
I'm getting milk chocolate, but I'm almost getting, like, you know, the dark chocolate aftertaste.
Mm-hmm. You're not close. Do you need a hint?
What is it?
It's a type of milk.
Almond milk?
Nope.
Goat milk?
This is oat milk chocolate.
You know what? Now I can taste it. Now that you said that, I can taste the almost like oatmeal.
Non-dairy.
Full non-dairy milk chocolate.
Graham, you watching?
So this is actually, I was a little iffy on how it would taste because, you know, it's milk chocolate. But it actually tastes really
really
fucking.
good.
I actually like this more than regular milk chocolate.
9 pieces, 170 calories. It's not even bad.
No, you love their dark chocolate with the orange bars. I like the orange bars part, but I don't like dark chocolate, so I can't get in it.
Here's one for you. Have you guys ever had the chocolate oranges?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That is literally a Christmas staple for me.
I love them. Allie hates them.
Really?
Her grandmother gives us each one every Christmas, and I get to eat 2.
It's the best. And there's something satisfying about taking it out of the wrapper and then just fucking whacking it down on a table.
Yep.
And you open it up and it's all the perfect pieces. And the core. I think the core is my favorite part.
I am such a slut for fruit chocolate stuff.
Yep.
My favorite snack is like chocolate covered acai or chocolate covered cherries.
Have you guys, it's a Jersey place, David Bradley Chocolate in Windsor.
Oh, I've heard you talk of it. That's why I've heard of it. But I've never been there.
No, and I'll tell you why.
Have the best chocolate. Like, even if it's just regular milk chocolate, you put something in chocolate and they'll do it.
Do you guys
I'm a Cadbury slut.
They have bacon.
Well, it was. Now they're Hershey. So
I can't get down with that. I can't get down with chocolate bacon. I get the salty and sweet, and I like that, but I don't like the actual bacon, like smoky bacon taste with chocolate. It turns into like this weird combo in my mouth that kind of makes me want to throw up. I don't know.
That is fair.
Do you know the place off Main Street that was like
Which Main Street?
it's right next to Trey and Freehold? So it looks like a fucking warehouse. It's across the street from where the audio place used to be, where I used to get them in my car. It's before Main Street. It was like a warehouse. Anyway, they are a chocolate. Well, they were a chocolate place. I don't know if they still are now, but I remember we always used to go there for like Easter. And then we went there for the other holidays, and I remember they had like fucking 3.5 foot tall nutcrackers. And I was like, that can't be chocolate. He's like, that's all chocolate.
That
like,
that was basically my girlfriend's reaction when I got her like our first Valentine's Day gift. So every year I go to David Bradley Chocolate, and they have these like heart things where the box, it's like a box of chocolates. The box is chocolate. So the box is made out of chocolate.
Oh, so they
plus
just fuck
all
up
the
people.
other shit
Oh
on
my
the
God.
inside. And
We have to cut the box open?
oh no, well it's like wrapped in like plastic wrap.
So you just have to keep it at the perfect temperature all the time.
Yeah.
If this changes temperatures, you have a box of
Also, you're not allowed
box.
to hold it.
Yeah.
But like, oh my God, it is so fucking good.
Nice.
Like, and they do like chocolate covered stuff like on demand.
Can I tell you about the biggest mistake I've ever made with chocolate?
Let's hear it.
So, you remember when I was on keto, right?
Mhm.
They make keto chocolate. It's like basically dark chocolate, but it's sweetened with stevia. Or no, it wasn't stevia. It was erythritol. Right?
I know exactly where this is going because I ruined people with it.
Which tastes fine. It's it really you could tell it's got a little bit of a fake taste to it, but it still basically tastes like chocolate. That shit played goddamn havoc on my stomach for hours. And I got the first batch. I was like, oh shit, keto chocolate. This has 3 net carbs per bar. I'm buying a fuck ton of these for Allie and I. And in one day, I think I ate like 3 of them, like over the course of the night. And I want to say maybe like 2 hours after I ate the last one, I was like, oh man, my stomach feels kind of weird. And then I shit my goddamn brains out for like 15 hours. It's like that shit with the Haribo gummies with the artificially sweetened ones.
Oh yeah, the diet or sugar-free ones.
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever.
it's the same thing.
So
no.
Hershey's, we went to Hershey Park years ago when my dad was first diagnosed with diabetes. So, or like pre, close, whatever. So we go to Hershey Park. He obviously can no longer have chocolate. So
why did you do that to him?
he fucking decided to go. I was driving. I was fucking 12.
I'm gonna test my willpower.
I wasn't 12. We were in high school. So we go, and Hershey's just released sugar-free chocolate.
Okay.
So he goes and he buys a bunch of the sugar-free chocolate. He's like, this is great.
no.
Sugar-free chocolate. He eats a couple, has a very similar experience to you.
And then keeps eating them.
And then we read the box. So in the box on the Hershey's things, it says in full clear writing, may cause diarrhea.
Explosive diarrhea.
Yeah.
You
Like
might
will make you poop.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm not gonna eat that anymore.
Turns out it was a laxative.
Pretty much. Oh, that's what it said. May cause laxative effect. That was on the box. So he's like, I'm obviously not gonna eat these anymore. So they just sat in the closet. I was going to a party.
Oh.
And I was like,
no.
Oh, this will be fun. So I made brownies.
Oh no.
And I put all of those in the brownies. And then I just waited. There were 2 bathrooms. There were 35 people. Guess how many people left? There were people shitting in the woods. There were people shitting by cars.
What party was that?
It was, I don't want to talk about it.
So
Prior,
this is
prior
where,
like
like-
Charlie and Andrew. And
It wasn't with them.
Okay.
So this is like where like Evil Joe's origin story.
It was a good one. It was a real good one.
I've never laxatived anybody,
It's
but
fucking chip companies and all that thing. They're what they put in that shit. I remember working in CVS. I don't know if you remember this. Pringles came out with a chip, like a diet. I don't know what the fuck the chip was. On the package, it was like
Diet
may
chips.
cause anal leakage I was like, no, it's a chip. Why?
Technically, they're called crisps because
So-
a chip has to be made from.
I don't know if
more
it was
potato.
Pringles, but I know the thing package clearly stated may cause anal leakage.
So that's actually because of the artificial sweetener. When you're on keto, right, you have to be really careful of what sugars you intake. Being on keto is basically like having diabetes. You have to watch your net carbs. You can't eat anything that increases your blood sugar. So there are some artificial sweeteners that claim that there's no sugar in them, right? Like the Atkins diet. The Atkins marketed food is like, oh, it's zero net carb. And they're right. However, they use maltodextrin for everything. And maltodextrin does not have any net carbohydrates, but it still raises your blood sugar the same as a pack of sugar. It's got a 100 glycemic index.
Oh,
So
wow.
it will knock you out of ketosis, and it will fuck with people who are diabetics. So a lot of people who are diabetics and think that it's safe to eat the Atkins stuff end up with a very nasty surprise in the fact that they've basically been poisoning themselves the entire time they've been eating this shit. But while I was researching some of the artificial sweeteners, some of them had side effects that included things like anal leakage.
yeah.
And what that amounts to is just like you basically get diarrhea so slowly that you're not even aware that it's happening.
No
Because
thanks.
when I was reading that, I was like, what the fuck does that even mean? And I had to look it up. I was like, what? Like, it's obviously my butthole's not just gonna be like, whoop, let's
right?
go.
That's why I was always like, no.
No, but basically what happens is it's liquid. Like everything is then liquid because of the fucking like the way some artificial sweeteners fuck your stomach up, and there ain't no stopping it. This isn't a tight seal. Like,
So it's a
things can get through.
it's a sooneria.
What?
A venturia?
What are you talking about?
Eventualaria.
A venturia.
Inevitoria. I am Inevitoria.
It sounds just like a Pokemon just evolving.
Shittiest Pokemon ever.
Literally.
Got him. I'm honestly surprised our follower count our follower count and our viewer count didn't go down while I was
Give it a
describing Thank you for sticking with us.
Not sticking. Slide.
Now let's see. Yeah, now let's see who closes the
Sloping
Wow.
sloping with us? Streaking with us.
I'm going home. End the episode. Thanks for tuning in to Tabletop Trio. I'm Bronson.
Yeah. Anyway, so I feel like that's a good jumping off point
Is it jumping?
or sliding.
You're
off.
not supposed to jump.
It's a I want to jump off my roof now point.
But thank you, Pokemon Brown. Oh no.
Jesus. Technically skids.
Pokemon New Boxers Brown.
That would be a hilarious mod for iRacing where when you leave the tire marks, they're just brown streaks. It's literally like 2 files to replace.
Don't give me any ideas. All the smoke turns green.
And you can make the cars with like mud splats around the outside of the wheels and be like, those aren't
That's
mud
weird.
splats.
We're on a
You know what?
We're on a hard road course, but there's mud splats on your tires.
On dirt racing, they actually have a splat sound too.
They do.
Because
Oh,
the splat hits your visor and you hear the
Yeah.
Replace the engine noise with that. Just like streaking skid marks, poop stains on the car, and just vroom, vroom, vroom.
Oh no.
We're 5. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Thanks, I hate it. But yeah, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. Make sure if you haven't done so already, give us a like, give us a follow, all that fun stuff.
And a little kiss on the cheek.
We're getting really close to our goal of 50 followers.
Yep.
We're like 6, 8 followers away, something along those lines.
I thought our goal was world domination shit.
We're getting one step
Baby
at
steps.
a time.
Oh, right.
Baby
right.
steps.
That's
As
the
the
last
one
one?
podcast I watch is
Not the last one. It's close.
Okay.
the one podcast I say or I follow says you're just stacking pennies. You take one little win and you just stack that penny up, and after a while we got it. So if you're watching this and you like what you see, make sure you give us a follow. You can check us out on all the socials and all that fun kind of stuff.
Tell your friends.
yeah,
Tell your
definitely
mom.
share
But don't
around.
tell her about the poop car.
No poop for you.
Unless your mom likes poop.
Now I'm
Anyway.
really leaving. Goodbye.
But yeah, so for one final time, I'm Bob,
I'm Joe.
I'm leaving.
and this has been Tabletop Trio. Thank you all so much for hanging out. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next time.
Chocolate!